I'm unstoppable. Pepper Army, made with 100% chicken breast. We are animal.
The Premier League continues tomorrow as Sheffield United host Arsenal. Sky Sports. Feel it all.
The City of London comes alive for a night of world-class boxing.
Astonishing!
Pro-Grade Taylor on Sky Sports Box Office.
Dave, you've been drafted. The NFL on Sky Sports, powered by Anytime Fitness.
Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Geico. Happy Geicoing. And by Lexus. Experience amazing. Under the lights Friday, Allen High School beat Dallas Jesuit 58-33. They're now 7-0. They play in a $60 million stadium, Eagle Stadium, capacity 18,000. This place costs a little bit more than that. Still beautiful, beautifully maintained. AT&T Stadium opened in 2009 with a game against the Giants, which the Giants won. Line drive kick fielded into the end zone. Miles Sanders coming back, and a flag is thrown from the other side of the field.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 54. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Kamu Grugier-Hill as we take a look at the Dallas defense.
DeMarcus Lawrence, the Boise State Broncos.
Malik Collins, KC Center.
Antoine Woods, USC.
Robert Quinn, Fort Dorchester High School.
Sean Lee, Penn State.
Jalen Smith, University of Notre Dame.
Leighton Van Der Esch, Boise State. Bay, I was Colorado.
Xavier Woods, Louisiana Tech.
Jeff Heath, Saginaw Valley.
Byron Jones, University of Connecticut.
Quinn has really made his mark. Came over in a trade with Miami. He's been a force on the defensive front. The flip here goes to Sanders. And the number 2 draft choice who backed up Saquon Barkley at Penn State. Done a great job out of the backfield, but in particular catching passes, and he'll go deep downfield.
Sure will. And for Carson Wentz, 9 for 29 on plays 20 or more yards down the field, 4 for 4 to Miles Sanders, 2 for 2 to Jackson, and 3 for 23 to everyone else. So that has been the missing piece here without Deshaun Jackson. Can they find a receiver to stretch this field?
Jackson with a core muscle injury and return uncertain as to when. Lynch in the pocket, gets hit, loses the ball, and the Cowboys fighting for it. There's an eagle there as well. DeMarcus Lawrence created the fumble. Dallas has it. DeMarcus Lawrence is playing his 10th game against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the first sack he's had, and it's a forced fumble as well.
First sack he's gotten against Lane Johnson so far in his career. Watch this little inside step and then the loop to the outside. Lane Johnson knew this was coming, but that is one of the things that you see Lawrence that does so well, and there he is to make the big play. They knew they had to help Andre Dillard on the left side, which meant Lane Johnson was going to be one-on-one against DeMarcus Lawrence. So far, big win for Lawrence.
That is Lawrence with the strip sack. It's Antoine Woods of the recovery, and for Wentz, that's his first fumble of the season. Well, Peterson thinking about those slow starts.
Movie time. Come on, don't be sheepish.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
See Farmageddon, a Shaun the Sheep movie as part of your year of Meerkat movies.
The Hollywood legend. Sky Cinema Will Smith, available now.
Guys, we already gave away over £2 million last season. In the interim, keep the prize at 250 grand.
18 plus. Entries by 3 o'clock Saturday. T's and C's apply.
More drama is guaranteed as the action continues in the EFL.
During the play, The runner was down at the 1 yard line, short of the end zone. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. Please reset the game clock to 9 minutes, 10 seconds.
Elliott's knee was down. Vinnie Curry made the tackle. And we'll see the play call here as you look at Garrett coming in from Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. Go with the fullback, Olawale again. Elliott behind him. And Elliott this time is into the end zone. Making all those with Zeke in their fantasy league happy again after a momentary setback. 14 yards, 2 plays after the fumble, and just like that, a 2-touchdown lead for the home team.
It's always good to see Tyron Smith back in there playing football again. He is just one of the most powerful forces in all of football. He gets into people and they just move. And I tell you what, Ezekiel Elliott, he says, I don't take hits, I give them. He's right.
Highest paid running back in football, signed that contract 4 days before the season. Extra point by Maher is good. Once again, a tough start for Philadelphia, exacerbated by winning the flip, which means Dallas gets the ball to start the second half. So you're down by 14. You still have 54 minutes of football to be played. So you're Peterson, you're the coaching staff. What's going on the sideline right now?
Well, you've given it away. You know, you can't turn the football over. Everybody understands that. We haven't seen this Cowboys defense truly stop them yet. I mean, but you just can't give the football away. And the concern here is the lack of big plays. So if they have to continue to go methodically down the right now, well, it looks like these two teams in the top of the divisional race, right? But in the right now, well, it looks like these two teams in the top of the divisional race, right? But in the NFC, there are so many good teams, you can't count on trying to make the wild card even at 10-6 necessarily. It may take 11 wins to get in at the wild card.
It could be a division champion only season. No wild cards as the kickoff will be fielded. The yard in the end zone, and after momentarily thinking about it, Miles Sanders should have kept it in the end zone. Ventel Bryant makes the tackle. First quarter woes go back to the beginning of last season. 3 points per game in the first quarter. That's next to worst in the league. 14 times they've been blanked. 7-1 when scoring, as Carson Wentz, third lowest rating in the first quarter since last year. You get him to the third quarter, he's terrific. Show you that later, but right now, boy, down by 14 at their own 13-yard line. Begin this drive with Jordan Howard in the backfield.
They've been here before. 6 out of 7 games, at least a 10-point deficit at some point.
Give it to Howard, and he gets ridden down from behind by Jeff Heath, coming up from his safety spot. Gain of about 3, called it 2nd and 7.
You know, what?
So Carson Wentz this season, 12 TDs and 3 picks. Very good ratio, obviously. The rating's about even with what the league average is.
Yeah, but that completion percentage is low at 61%.
Yep.
And the yards per completion relatively low. Cowboys much higher.
2nd down and 7. Wentz snuffs it off, and great tackle is made, and that's Leighton Vander Esch. Had a great rookie season, picked it right up this year. #1 draft choice last season out of Boise State. 3rd and 10.
Well, it's certainly going to be the key matchup on the outside here. You've got the leading sacker, Robert Quinn, going to go working against the rookie and Andre Dillard. Just enough here. They get the ball out. But they are certainly thinking about that at this point. They have had some help to that side, and you have to gauge early on, can he handle this crowd noise and get off on the snap count? That is key.
That Cowboy defense not allowing a first down this year on a 3rd and 10 or more, and make it 0 for 24 now. Jalen Smith put the pressure on. You got a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 54. 15-yard penalty, automatic First down.
That's Jalen Smith coming in instead of a punt now at first down.
Jalen Smith is going to come on a bit of a loop here around the backside. He has been a pass rusher for this team, but you cannot deliver that blow. You go up, you try and block the pass, and sometimes you just run into the helmet. And boy, for the Philadelphia Eagles, what a break. They had a little bit of a pick play for Miles Sanders set up. I was a little surprised that Carson Wentz didn't look there first. They might have had a shot at another big play down the field to Sanders.
Howard, the back, sets up deep. Give it to him, and the ex-Chicago Bear is off to the races with a nice gain out to the 45-yard line. Eagles picking him up in the offseason after 3 very productive seasons in Chicago. That's a gain of 16 for him.
Yeah, they put both linebackers on one side and bring them to that side, and then a little jump out move here, and then just one-on-one blocks. Good block down the field by Dallas Goedert as well to spring that one. We've really seen Jordan Howard take over the majority of first and second down runs.
Eagles go no huddle, play fake, and the pass is dropped by Alshon Jeffrey, but here come 2 flags. Jeffrey has been dropping balls, but Xavier Woods came in, and there was contact, so much so that you've got flags coming in from both directions.
You know, it's interesting, Al. Sometimes it's easier to hear this contact than see it. And once they hear that clank,
foul, unnecessary roughness.
They know it's a foul.
Number 25. Contact to a defenseless player. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
It's right there on Woods. 2 personal foul penalties on this drive. And as you look at Rod Marinelli, the venerable defensive coordinator, officials Chris Richard, who has a lot to do with that defense, passing game coordinator, worked under Pete Carroll for a few seasons up in Seattle, and very well respected guy who probably will get a few head coaching interviews at some point.
It's an interesting blend of defenses with Marinelli really handling the front end and Richard handling the back end.
From the 41-yard line, Howard, nice run, 8 yards through the middle. Lee makes the tackle. You know, he's one of those guys, Howard, that you don't think about. You think about the top backs in the league as the Eagles are again going to go no huddle, but Chicago felt he was expendable. Pro Bowl after the 2016 season, just 24 years old, and he and Sanders make a nice dual threat out of that Eagle backfield.
Yeah, last 3 years, he's 3rd in line after Ezekiel Elliott and Todd Gurley as far as the leading rushers in the league.
Good company. 2nd and 3. Here he goes again, and with hesitation move, finds the open spot and takes the ball to the 26-yard line. So a couple of penalties have aided this drive, which has consumed now 3 minutes and covered 61 yards.
Look how deep in the backfield Jordan Howard is, 10+ yards. And what that does is it gives these offensive linemen time to double team, time to get up on the next level. So many times we see backs like Le'Veon Bell kind of dancing around at the line of scrimmage. But when you put a guy 10 yards deep, you don't have to dance around. You can hit it.
Call his number again, and this time that is DeMarcus Lawrence, who already has a strip sack. Making the tackle in the backfield. Tackle for loss there of 2 yards. 2nd and 12.
Lane Johnson anticipating an outside move, and boy, as soon as he stepped that way, Lawrence was gone. It's like he was shot out of the blocks for the 100 meters right there. He is some athlete, and he did not like a little bit the fact that he felt like Doug Peterson sort of guaranteed a win. Doug Peterson would counter that.
What a wonderful world. Atoll protected.
Hollywood legend. Sky Cinema Will Smith, available now.
Guys, we already gave away over £2 million last season. In the interim, keep the prize at 250 grand.
18 plus. Entries by 3 o'clock Saturday. T's and C's apply.
I am hell. Where I walk is hell.
Lauren, you've been drafted. The NFL on Sky Sports, powered by Anytime Fitness.
Noise and get off on the snap.
So football being brought to you by
Applebee's.
Visit Applebee's.com for Sunday delivery and buy the first ever Hyundai Paradise. So take a look at this. That's a look back at the first ever televised game, October 22nd, 1939, NBC, 80th anniversary today. Game went to 1,000 homes in New York City. 2 cameras shot the game. Replay hadn't been invented yet. 1 talent production crew of 8. So on the right, of course, there's Fred Godelli and Drew Esikoff and our entire gang. So they had a production crew of 8, and we have like 114 monitors there.
And as they always remind us, they can do what we do. We can't do what they do.
They are landing planes at DFW in the meantime. So meanwhile, probably the second game was the next week. It only went to 900 homes in Hollywood. Yep. So this show, #1 in prime time for 8 years, American Idol for 6, the Cosby Show all in the family for 5, and just proud to be a part of a fantastic group of people.
Yeah, 34 of the top 50 shows were all NFL games. Pretty amazing. Yes, 100 years in the celebration, but the way that NFL football dominates television is just remarkable.
That's where it started. It was Brooklyn against Philadelphia back in 39. This drive starts from the 25-yard line, and Wentz, with his receivers covered, loses the ball as he tries to slide to a halt at the 27-yard line. You've got Jordan Lewis, who's on top of it, waiting for a call from Boger.
Is that the runner gave himself up and was down?
He started the slide. That's what I was wondering too. He started the slide, so should be down there.
He'd clearly given himself up. Terry McCauley, what do you think?
Once he gives himself up, any body part other than the hand or the foot puts him down. Does not have to be down by contact in that situation.
And that's why they retain possession. And it's 2nd down and 5. Through the middle, this time.
Discover our delicious new yogurts. Just 1 pot a day contains enough plant stanols to lower your cholesterol. Benecol.
I'm Alan Carr. Join me, Michael, Jennifer and Tom, along with special guests Susie Ruffle, Josh Widdicombe and Sean Bean, as we find out if they really do know something about movies.
The Premier League continues tomorrow as Sheffield United host Arsenal. Sky Sports. Feel it all.
Some big news from the NBA, my UK friends. Star players everywhere have been on the move, leaving everything wide open. A new season on Sky Sports. Feel it all.
Sonia, you've been drafted. The NFL on Sky Sports, powered by Anytime Fitness.
Well, tonight at midnight Eastern Time, Tiger Woods and the reigning FedEx Cup champion Rory McIlroy clash in a high-stake skins game. Catch the drama unfolding live from Japan. Midnight Golf Channel and PGA Tour Live. Tiger and Rory in action Wednesday night of the Zozo Championship, 10 p.m. Eastern on Golf. Van Der Esch was helped off to the sideline. Joe Thomas comes in to replace him at the linebacker spot. It's 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line now. To the 46, Miles Sanders. So here was Lane Johnson talking about DeMarcus Lawrence the other day.
Really, that cross-chop move is something he likes to go to a lot. It's really timing that inside foot, I guess, when he jumps. Inside foot with that inside hand.
part of the offensive line camp that they had out in San Francisco, and you could see there, Lawrence, watch him grab the right arm and propel himself around by Lane Johnson. They'll be talking about that one in next year's camp.
Yeah, the other day was actually last summer when they all got together, all the offensive linemen. Meanwhile, there is Wentz escaping his sacks and then throwing it away and out of bounds. So he almost went down again. Antoine Woods had a near sack. It's going to make it 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, Kerry Hyder that time went on the inside move against Lane Johnson right here. He's going to try and sneak by there. And Kerry Hyder has been so close this year. He's had a lot of opportunities. He just can't finish one off.
Enjoy the brilliant clean of Ariel 3-in-1 pods. Do you pod? Always pod safely and keep away from children.
She was beautiful, came from a great family. She had these young boys, and she just disappears.
We all thought Josh was pretty harmless.
Josh's father, Steve, was obsessed with her.
God, I worship her. It's the most tragic, horrible case I've ever seen anywhere.
The city of London comes alive for a night of world-class boxing. Pro Greg Taylor on Sky Sports Box Office.
Lauren, you've been drafted. The NFL on Sky Sports, powered by Anytime Fitness.
Well, Van Der Esch was in the medical tent, and now they're taking him back to the locker room. So the linebacker is out. Here's how he got hurt. Get a report ASAP on him.
Leading tackler from a season ago.
From the 20-yard line now, they hand the ball off to Elliott, and it's a nice tackle before he can get out of the backfield by Deshaun Hall. And we go to Michelle.
Well, I do have a report from the Eagles sideline. Hassan Ridgeway went back. You saw him go back to the locker room. He is questionable with a knee injury. Remember, he was replacing Tim Jernigan, who was replacing Malik Johnson. So now they're on their Malik Jackson, I'm sorry, and now they're on their 4th guy in that position, Al.
Yeah, they go to Akeem Spence. And Deshaun Hall in the game, too, another reserve, making that last tackle. So the war of attrition continues as Prescott looks off the first receiver, and then the second, it's incomplete. Randall Cobb. Prescott looks for a flag for interference. Doesn't get it. 3rd down and 10.
Well, the Cowboys came into this game saying we have to block 91 and 55. That would be Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. We have not heard their name much, Al, right?
Yeah,
you remember anything? So that has been the story of the first half, is that mission accomplished for blocking those 2 guys at least so far.
Well, Dallas 93 ground yards tonight. And a few more in the air, incomplete.
Deride in pursuit of happiness. But after Earth was invaded by crazy robots, he took a stand in the...
Didn't mean to startle you, ma'am.
Some called him a legend. Others called him Hancock. Sky Cinema Will Smith. Available now. And don't miss our Sky Cinema TV special, Will Smith Real Life, and exclusive clips of Gemini Man. Available now.
More drama is guaranteed as the action continues in the EFL. Live on Sky Sports. Feel it all.
Dave, you've been drafted. The NFL on Sky Sports, powered by Anytime Fitness.
Mike Tirico here. Toyota halftime coming up. In 2 weeks on Sunday night, you'll see Lamar Jackson. We'll show you his big day on the ground. And next week, it's Aaron Rodgers, who was historic at Lambeau today. The highlights ahead. Al, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. Had to watch most of that game between Oakland and Green Bay today. I mean, Rodgers is just as good as ever. Period. From the 30-yard line now, inside 2 minutes. Elliott, look at that move. Finally brought down by Jenkins. Stopped in the backfield breaks away, wiggles around Brandon Graham, leaves him in the dust, picks up 16.
Brandon Graham's a great athlete. He ain't that great an athlete. Not stopping that guy in the open field. 230 pounds of man with those kinds of moves. I guess you just pay him $90 million and love it. And the other guy who set all this up was Amari Cooper with a brilliant route. Watch the way Cooper sells this slant here against Rasul Douglas. Going to snap his head back to the quarterback and then back. Douglas typically does not bite on those. They really did not plan in this game to go after Douglas because a little bit of lack of speed. He usually is a little more cautious. Not that time. And Amari Cooper took advantage.
Philly just called a defensive timeout. Now 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Pete Elliott again. Around the corner he goes for a short gain before he's bumped out of bounds by Nathan Gary. Elliott now 13 carries for 65 yards. And he has caught 3 for 21 more.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that sets him up is when Amari Cooper gets going. I mean, let's just face it. They're a different team when Cooper gets going. A 153 quarterback rating, which 158 is perfect, when he does double moves. And you can see why. He just sold the heck out of that slant.
Now Pollard comes into the backfield. 2nd and 8. Prescott fires, dropped. It's Michael Gallup, and that has been the issue for him. Going to be a really good receiver, you think, someday. Colorado State 3rd-round draft choice 2nd year, but that's his problem, dropping balls.
Yeah, a little behind here, and I'm sure Dak would like to split the difference with him here, but this is one Gallup maybe would have
coming out.
It's a good drive, survival really by the Philadelphia Eagles on defense to not allow a touchdown there and give their offense one more chance here before the half.
Maher, you saw the long of 62. That was last year the 2nd 62-yarder of his career. This a chip shot from 26 away. And he puts it down. Maher bangs it through. And with 1:31 left in the half, it's 24-7. Well, this week on Wednesday Night Hockey, Sidney Crosby and the Penguins head to Tampa to take on the Lightning. Wednesday Night Hockey, 8 Eastern and NBCSN. A lot of art here in the stadium. That's the latest art edition. That's actually at the Star, which is where they trained, by the French artist Daniel Burin. You know what? We need to talk to LP Ladouceur, the longtime snapper for the Cowboys. And there is Gene Jones, and Gene is watching this and going, look at that. You know, people will flock to it. I'll tell you what. That yeah, it said here it's at the Star, but it's here. And Gene very happy about that. So when you visit AT&T Stadium, you can check it out by the French artiste.
Gene Jones insists that this be a first-class through and through stadium. She wants something for everyone here, and the artwork is pretty amazing.
Maher to kick off. And Sanders downs it in the end zone. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Leighton Vander Esch, as you saw, went back to the locker room. Here is the injury he sustained. Look at his head. Look at the neck. He is questionable with a neck injury. That's why he wears that neck collar, because he had so many issues with his neck in college, an extensive history. So right now, questionable. We'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Back in the locker room with 1:31. Joe Thomas, in the meantime, number 48, will spell him. You got Sean Lee in the game as well.
Yeah, this is by far the deepest bunch of linebackers we've seen with the Cowboys in some time.
Number 25. Oh, and down goes Wentz. Look, he held onto that one. Robert Quinn had been with the Rams, then he went to Miami 1 year there, got traded over here. Missed 2 games, suspended earlier in the season, but since he's come back, 5 sacks in 4 games coming in, and there's number 6.
Yeah, he's known for his speed move, but he sees Miles Sanders there to help. So what does he do? He just goes straight to the bull rush and takes Dillard right back in to Carson Wentz. He has been a monster since he's come over. That his 6th sack. He leads the Cowboys.
2nd and 18. Wentz has that one deflected. And it drops untouched. That's Robert Quinn.
And there it was. I'll tell you, as this season goes along, he and DeMarcus Lawrence, that is a handful. You always have to check to make sure that's not a fumble of some sort.
3rd and 18, play clock at 1. Keep it on the ground here and give it to Miles Sanders, and they'll be content to just go back into that locker room down by 17. And Dallas is also going to get the ball to begin the second half. But Quinn, Chris, pretty incredible story, all things considered, when you go back to when he was in high school.
It's unbelievable. He had a brain tumor, Al. His senior year of high school, he was having migraines all day, and it's around the month of October during football season. He was walking down the hall, got a little lightheaded, passed out, said, okay, it's no big deal. Comes back on Sunday morning, worked at Burger King, woke up at 5:30 in the morning, blacked out twice. They took him to the hospital, and at the hospital they told him, basically, you're not leaving here alive. And from there, here he is leading the Dallas Cowboys in sacks. A remarkable story. And he just celebrates every day.
Here's Davon Austin. And he's out of bounds there. And Quinn told us the other day the tumor is still benign in the brain.
Yeah, they basically drilled a new spinal cavity, but the tumor ended up being benign, so they said it's safer to leave it in there than it is to try and go do the surgery. And every single day he said, I'm just happy to be here. Can you imagine being a high school student?
Nope.
And the first message was, you'll never play football again. The second message is, you're not getting out of here alive. And here he is. I mean, truly just remarkable.
And no stranger to the Pro Bowl. 22 seconds to halftime. Zach at least trying to get them into field goal range. Here is Witten. He gets up to the 38-yard line, and Dallas takes a timeout with 17 seconds.
Yeah, don't forget Brett Maher now has 2 62-yard field goals to his name, one of only 3 kickers in the history of this league with 2 over 60. So basically would have to get somewhere around the 45 to at least have a shot.
Other 2 kickers to do it, Sebastian Janikowski, Greg Zuerlein, all of recent vintage.
You know, really this game has swung on those first 2 turnovers. The short field for the Cowboys, and the Eagles turning the ball over after accepting the opening kickoff, something they rarely do. And it has been all Cowboys.
2nd and 2. To the outside, Witten makes the catch again. That spent 5 seconds, and now you got 12 seconds.
I like the little details that Dak Prescott has. Watch a little shoulder shimmy here. Just a little bit out there trying to move the defense. When you have zone defenses, you just want those guys to see your eyes. You want to give them a little something, get them to move out of place, and then find the open guy.
If they can get to the 44 and get out of bounds, that would set up around a 61 or 62-yard field goal. They got to get to the 44 and out of bounds, and they just about do as Witten makes the catch. And now you're going to be talking maybe about a 63-yard field goal from the 45. Do you want to try it?
Well, you're going to take one more shot here. You do have 9 seconds, you can gain a little bit more.
Got to make sure you get out of bounds without a timeout.
And the Eagles going to call a timeout and figure that out.
To Michelle we go.
I talked to Brett Maher before the game. His pregame long in this direction was 55 yards. Our SNF Kicks technology said it would have been good from 65, although he did miss twice in this direction. But I asked him about that 62-yarder last week. He said, those are not easy. I have to hit them absolutely purely. He said, my preference is to be inside the 40 if I'm going to kick.
Oh, yeah. I would think. But, you know, the conditions here are perfect.
Well, all he's got to do is hit it like an Al Michaels driver. That's it.
Sure. Right.
Rip that baby. We'll draw.
1 out of every 10,000. Or the Collinsworth fade or the Collinsworth slide.
So they're protecting the boundaries here, protecting the end zone, but don't want anything outside. Not there. Throw it away. That was the message.
Witten covered there by Jenkins. They got 4 seconds. Yep, they're going to bring Maher out.
Yeah, and so now if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, here's the think about it part. Because with all those offensive linemen and protectors in the game, if you come up short, you want your returner back just underneath the goalpost. And if he comes up short, you have a chance to return it all the way. So that is always the danger. We have seen that plenty, and the Eagles have to do that. They have to have somebody back.
All right, this is a 63-yard attempt. The NFL record is 64 by Matt Prater. Meanwhile, you've got timeout taken by Philadelphia. So he can become, Maher could, the first man in history to kick 3 of over 60. He'd be 1 shy of Prater's record. And the Eagles, meanwhile, will send somebody back just in case there's a run back here. Prater kicked his in Denver. We're not quite at 5,280 feet here tonight.
Rudy Ford goes back now, and this is the right strategy.